Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Davion. Today we are back with our Behind the Blue series, talking about Chelsea FC and their Club World Cup run. I mean, for one, shout out to the boys, shout out to Enzo Maresca. I mean, absolutely incredible from Chelsea what they have done this summer. To get themselves ready for the upcoming season in the Premier League, inside of a Champions League, FA Cup, and all of the other tournaments that we will participate in. I mean, this was exactly what Chelsea needed. This was exactly the start to the season that they wanted. And, from start to finish of this tournament, they looked like there were times, obviously that second game against Flamingo, that game thankfully did not define our tournament. Honestly, I think, Maresca tried some things. He tried to rechange in the middle of the field inside of that 4-3-3, inside of the new system, and it just didn't work. And then, Nicholas Jackson red card didn't help at all as well. But regardless, Chelsea really got it done from start to finish of this tournament. So going through a couple of games, LAFC, they looked like they were in control, or the LAFC game against Chelsea, 2-0 win. They looked like they were in control for the most part of that game. And that's exactly what the club wanted. That's exactly what Maresca wanted. Obviously, it definitely looked like the first game of a tournament, first game of the summer. It sucks because Chelsea are coming off or having to play all the way throughout summer. Obviously, I think the boys are going to have about a little less than a month until the Premier League actually starts, and so they'll probably get 2, maybe 3 weeks off, to just relax. Definitely probably 2 weeks off, just to get your body back in shape and actually go on holiday and relax for a little bit, because we've just ended our 2024-2025 campaign. But going back to it, obviously we lost match day 2, and then we won, the last game of the group stage. And so, we entered the round of 16, going against Benfica in Charlotte, and it's a 4-0 win. Granted, the boys definitely there was a 2-hour delay, game, they were up in the 85th minute, 2-hour delay happens, they sit around for 2 hours, then you go, back into the game. Gave away a penalty, which I don't think is a penalty. Benfica goes, scores, takes it to extra time. Red card for Benfica. Chelsea is not winning 4-1. Complete game there. Palmeiras, again, Juan Pedro is playing out of his mind. He scored. No, he did not score that game. Cole Palmer scored that game. And, it was, I think that game showed, again, control. But the thing I think Chelsea are struggling with, these days are, again, counter-defending the ball. Counter-defending in transition. And I think there are times, and from that gap of the 60th minute to the 90th minute where, if there's no subs that are made in that 60th to the 80 gap, then I think Chelsea starts to crumble. But I think when I'm watching us play now, I look more, it's more exciting. I think if Maresca can make sure he makes subs, 60th, 65th minute, 70th minute, I think we'll continue to be productive. But if we go into, the 75th minute and not made a sub, then I think that teams are going to be able to capitalize on us because they have already made subs. But yeah, Chelsea is going to win there. They get the win against Fluminense. Juan Pedro gets his goal against his former club. And then, the final, PSG, best team in the world. I think Chelsea were in control of that game. If I have to be honest, probably 65 at the minimum, 70% of that game. I just think that, when I look back at that game, it just showed that, inside of a good system, honestly, it showed that, Maresca's a very good coach because they had, a little under a week to plan for PSG. They had to figure out, how do we beat this system? Obviously, PSG hold a high line. They want to counter-attack you. They want to, switch the field. They want to attack you, be very direct. And Chelsea completely, switched it up and ran their game. And I think, watching that game, it just showed me a glimpse of what we can actually be in the future, what we can actually be as a club, and it gave me hope for the Premier League, gave me hope for Champions League whatsoever, and I look forward to watching Chelsea play now, this upcoming season, because there are pieces of us that can achieve those goals if we play the way that we played. We have a different level of fight, a different level of anger, attitude, all of the above. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens because we are going to be a team to definitely have to watch. I mean, Chelsea's first game back against Leverkusen. I don't know if it's a friendly or not, but it's August 8th. So, the boys have 2 weeks to relax, and then they'll get back into training probably the first week of August. But let me know what you think about Chelsea's run against in the Club World Cup, and let me know what you think about the upcoming season. I've been your host, Davion. This has been the post game. Peace.